All right, I already did this whole thing and explained all this once, but now I'm gonna have to do it again because this camera is absolute garbage. Don't buy GoPros, get DJI. I don't know how many videos, I've had really good off-road recovery videos, completely ruined by this total trash camera. The whole footage we did earlier, we had the grader running and explaining what we were doing and everything, all ruined by this camera. But aside from that, I could do a whole video on GoPro versus DJI if you guys want. But aside from that, I think I need to explain how this whole road district works a little bit better, because there was a lot of people saying, oh, it's government, that's this and that. The county has nothing to do with this. This city has nothing to do with it. There's no city, no township, no nothing. We're in the middle of nowhere. This is a private road district managed by itself. It is funded by our property taxes. So we pay property taxes to the county. The part of the property tax that would normally go to road maintenance is taken out and sent back to this private road district. All around Oregon, there's these private road districts where the county does not maintain the roads, so it gives the money back to the districts to maintain them themselves. This particular road district had its board members for the last decade, and no one's been able to really figure out what they do because they weren't working on the roads. Then they all just kind of faded away. So earlier this year, another few people took over, and we're gonna come and save all the roads. As you saw from previous videos, they kind of screwed things up. So Grumpy and I were gonna take over at the next road district meeting. We're basically gonna go in and tell them, hey, we're in charge now, you guys are out. But luckily for us, one of our other neighbors out here who lives on one of the other roads in this district and had the same thing happen to his road, he didn't want to wait. So he called him up, and I don't know how it all went down, but by the end of that conversation, he was the new road district manager. And then he reached out to me asking if I could help out, since I have equipment and road work experience as well, and help do the actual maintenance of the road, which is perfect because I get to help out, I get to maintain the roads, I get to help get the work done, but I'm not ultimately responsible. So best case scenario, especially since he is a project manager for a major construction company, and running projects like this, working on a budget, coming up with a plan, and actually doing the work, he's actually the one running the grader right now, he's got tons of experience in it. So this is best case scenario all the way around. So now, on to the important part of how we're gonna fix the road. So Brent, the new guy who took over, he knows what he's doing. He knows the little box scrapers and all that the road department was using and what Grumpy and I used to kind of fix it. It's not the way to go. You need real equipment. So he brought in an actual grader, a Cat 140, and then this 84-inch smooth drum vibratory compactor. Problem is, we couldn't get the equipment here before the rock was going to show up because the previous road administration had already ordered the rock. So the rock was coming, and that just is what it is. We would have liked to have graded the dirt they put down smooth and compacted it before the rock went over the top, but like I said, we couldn't get the machines here in time. So we had the trucks just dump it real thick down the middle and just kind of leave it as is where people could drive over it for now. Then today, when the machines show up, and I showed all this really good while we were doing it earlier, but again, GoPro ruined it. So what we did is we took the grader, we grabbed all that fresh new rock, and we shoved it all over to one side. And then he graded the dirt underneath nice and smooth, and then I took the roller and compacted it down really hard under there. Then he took the rock and moved it back over onto that side and graded the dirt on this side nice and smooth, and then I went in and compacted it really hard with the roller. Now we're in the process of taking that rock and smoothing it back across the whole road in a nice even crown, and then I take the roller and pack it all in nice and smooth. Not the ideal way to do it, adds a couple steps in there, but at least we can get some compaction into the dirt under the rock before the rock gets put over the top and rolled smooth, so it should help out a whole lot. All right, so he's putting one of the final passes on it now. He might go across one more time. It actually looks pretty good back there. That'd probably be it. He can hop onto the next road. But this is the right tool for the job. Yeah, this is the way to go. Very good job. Look, he's got the material coming right out to the end of the blade, but not off the end where it leaves a little windrow. And then when I come in and pack it down with the roller, this will have just a nice, easy crown to it. Perfect. So now I come hop back in the roller that shut off for some reason while I was standing out there. And I don't know why. Warning, it says. Uh-oh. Huh. Well, hopefully it starts. All right, so now I'll hop on out here and I'll start here on this edge that's gonna be the crown. And once we're moving, kick the vibrator on. I'm sure you guys can hear that. And by vibrating down on this edge here, it's going to flatten this out and kind of blend that pass and that pass together, and it'll make one nice smooth road by the time we're done. So now we're cruising down the paved road again to get to the next one and see how far the grader made it. This thing needs a highway gear. It's not very fast. Alright, we're getting here. So now we turn our speed control dial down to rolling speed. We get turned in here, lined up with one edge, and as soon as we get off the pavement, we start our vibrator. And now we're compacting. So we're just still cruising along behind the grader, trying to match his pace and keep a little distance here. And then when we get to the end, we'll turn around and go the other way. Okay, we hopped up here out of the way, let the grader go by. So this is kind of a screwed up spot. You can see from this angle, the road goes kind of down over the hill right here, but they cut the road into the hill instead of building the road up. So there's nowhere for the water to flow except down the road, and it was kind of an even belly. So he reshaped it a little bit to slope off to one side and at least get the water in one side where it runs down the edge, and it's going to create a little ditch there, but it's better than it just meandering all like a mess right down the center of the road. When this was built, it should have never been cut into the hill going down, because that leaves, like I said, nowhere for the water to go but the road. So the gravel kind of ends right here, so I'm going to start packing it down. Man, it's getting windy. Packing it down as best I can right here. Hopefully all that weight is blowing a storm in. Alright, so when you're running vibratory roller, always get moving, then start your vibration. Never do that sitting still. And if you got to change directions, kill your vibration, wait for it to stop, roll out a couple feet, get going the other direction, and once you're going, start your vibration back up. Oh, I started right on a rocky hard spot, so it really shook. Also, don't do that. So here's an example of how poor road design and lack of water flow thought in road design causes a major problem. Right here you see, the grader's already made one pass down here, but right here you see where the water is pooling up in the road instead of off next to the road. And then when people drive through, that makes a wet and soft spot, which starts potholes, and that will pothole out that spot, and then that'll start washboards back and forth up and down the road. So what he's trying to do here, you can see how thick of a cut he's got going on and how much material he's building up here. And he started right back there, that way he can carry it down and up there and bring more material in. And the goal is going to be to take this low spot of the road that's lower than that edge of the scrub brush there and raise it, and then put the crown back in so that when the water runs off, it goes off the side of the road into that scrub brush instead of sitting right there in the corner and making a pothole water mess. I don't know how well you can see in the camera, but he's got a ton of material built up in his blade, and he's got his blade pretty well parallel to the road instead of angled like normal, and that's because he's trying to carry all that material into this low spot instead of having it go off the side like normal. Probably hard to tell in the camera, but he's starting to angle his blade off to that side, and then he'll start dumping that material off into that hole. And now that extra material he has left over, he'll start trailing it off right here, go back there, spin around and grab this material and bring it back through this way, doing the same thing to keep filling that. Let's move up here. You guys can see, look how much all that water got moved over. And if you look at the edge he left to the edge where that scrub brush is now lower. So once he brings one more pass back across and fills that out to the edge, there won't be any more water on the road. So here's something I just noticed about this roller. It has a % slope gauge on it, and the ideal for a crown on the road is 2%. Look at that, 2%. It's telling us how tilted we are. That grader does not have a slope gauge in it. It's all by feel. So 2% is your ideal, and we are running, this tells us where we are. We are running at a dead-on 2%, so he knows what he's doing. So a 2% slope means that if you pick a point right here and go 100 feet out straight to the side, it'll be 2 feet lower. That's the angle that is 2%. 2% on a road for the crown of a road or the slope of a road is a pretty standard number where it's enough of a slope that the water will shed off to the side, but not so much of a slope that the water will run off to the side and create little divots and washes as it runs down. You want the water to slowly shed off to the side to prevent erosion. So when you're driving down the highway and you see one of those signs that says like 6% grade, 5 miles or whatever it is, that means that for every 100 feet you drive, you're going to lose 6 feet in elevation. That's a 6% grade. And that 5 miles means you're going to continue at about that grade for 5 miles. That lets truckers know kind of how steep a hill coming up and how long it's going to be, so they can get in the right gear and get slowed down, or just blow through it and hope for the best like most of them do. But that's what those percent signs mean. It's used in a lot of road stuff like that, and is the very common way things are described in construction to lay out slope angles and stuff like that. If you're wondering how much this roller vibrates, watch this bank right here. And that is how this roller that weighs about 30,000 pounds has a compaction force of 58,000 pounds. That vibration makes a massive difference and makes this act like a much bigger, heavier machine. All right, we're all done with everything on this side of the district. We got to head over to the other side of the district, which is where my house is and that set of dirt roads. But the only way to get between the two is to go out on the highway and go a mile or so down the highway and come back in. Not highway, a main road out there. But since rollers are not good on the highway, we're gonna go rock crawling up over the hill here and kind of off-road a little bit to get to the other side. Problem is, rollers aren't very good at rock crawling either, so let's see how it goes. And of course, on the camera, this is not gonna look steep at all or like bad at all. You'd be like, you're a wuss, that was super easy. But trust me, this roller does not like going over stuff like this. The drum's actually slipping a little bit, but the tires in the back are grabbing. And finally back onto some pavement where it's a little smoother. I don't know where the grader is, but we'll just keep driving until we see some tracks and then follow them. Well, we're back here to my road, and this is what I was saying where I cut this step in. As you can see, now the gravel goes dead even to it and is a downhill slope away from it. So on this approach, we should not have the problem of gravel being constantly drug out on it. And when I take that fine machine there and compact this down really good, this should be a nice, easy transition and not start washboarding all the way down the road. Now again, I'm following him down the road as he's grading along, and we're sitting right at 2% slope. That's perfect. Oh, it kicked up to 3. Perfect slope, especially since he's doing it 100% by feel because he doesn't have that fancy gauge in that machine. Look at this hoodlum over here with his dog. Let's go say hi. I have a surprise for him. Well, good morning, sunshine. How's it going? So, what type of shoes are you wearing?
Keen.
You like Keens?
I love Keens.
That is good. That was totally unplanned. Because
I have to wear Keens.
Why?
Well, because I have foot operations, and they're the only shoe that works.
Well, good thing. Keen reached out to me and offered to send us a free pair of shoes.
Oh, I'm liking that.
So go on their website.
Okay.
Pick out whatever shoe or boot you want.
Okay.
Enter that code, and it's free.
All right. I need a new pair because these are 4 years old.
4 years old and they still look pretty good.
Yep, they've been on the job.
Look at this.
I know, it's nice.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a ways to go down here, and we already did everything on the other side.
Oh, really?
And this is the first one on this side, and we're gonna go down and do the other.
Call this Butler?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
So, going good.
Yeah.
He's actually coming back down now, so I'm gonna hop in and get out of the way. Yeah, Keen Footwear offered to send out a couple of those cards for some free shoes. And I decided to give Grumpy one because Grumpy's been such a huge help to us. He's been working on some projects with my wife as well as helping me with the towing stuff. So gave him one of those, and Merry Little Christmas. And a big thank you to Keen, because those shoes and those cards very explicitly came with 0 requirements of any kind. I didn't have to mention them, I didn't have to say anything about them, nothing, just, we like what you're doing, we'd love to support, there you go. And they even said, you don't have to say anything about us on there, you don't have to promote us at all, it's just because we want to support you. So thank you very much. All right, it's starting to get dark out. We're still chasing the grader around, and we're still running at 2% slope to this side. I'd say he's got a feel for this. I think this is our final road tonight before we can get back to where we can call it a night and park these things. As you notice right now, we're on this super hard pack ground. We're not doing much, but just knocking off the washboards, then kind of kicking this side down a little bit to get that 2% that we want. Since this ground right here is so hard, I'm not running the vibrator on the roller because we have compaction here, and if I run the vibrator, all it's going to do is make this drum bounce and hop instead of sit there and vibrate, and that could leave divots in the road, which could then lead to washboards. So no vibrator going right now, just following the grader along. If we get to a spot where he leaves a pretty decent fill of material where I've got, you know, 4 or 5 inches of fresh material he dumped down, then when I get onto that, I'll hit the vibrator, and when I get off back onto the hard ground, I'll turn it off. So I think that gate right there where he is the end of this road, the dead end at the farthest point of the whole community. So, oh yeah, he's spinning around. We got to make one more pass all the way back, and we're quite a ways out now. It'll be way past dark by the time we get home, but one more pass back out of here and we are done and can call it a night. All right, now I'm gonna spin around. And when he turned around, he left just a little windrow right here in the middle, which is fine because now I can come right down and center it with my drum, turn on my vibrator, and go across it real slow, and it'll take that little windrow and it'll just smash it out flat like rolling cookie dough on a cookie sheet. And that'll take that right away, make it nice and smooth. Get to the end of it and turn the vibrator off, and now we head towards home. All right, well, we got him parked. It is late, and I'm supposed to go home to get ready for a Christmas party, so I should probably do that. And once again, right in the middle of a clip, GoPro decides to stop recording all audio. Sometimes it stops in the middle of a clip, sometimes it just never records it from the beginning. The whole time the soundbar on the camera shows that it's recording and sound is playing. It shows the sound levels in the camera. But when you go to edit the footage, it's all gone. There have been some great off-road recoveries that you guys have never seen thanks to GoPro. So I am officially done with GoPro. That's it. They're out. I don't even remember what I was saying in this whole outro, but I'm sure it ended with, thanks for watching and good night.